Hello, all you spacers out there, and welcome to Safe Space, episode 4 of season 2. This is a tabletop role-playing show of science fiction and horror, utilising the Mothership game. I can never get this right. From Tuesday Night Games, a brilliant game. We're playing the first edition of it. And who are we? Well, I am the Warden / Games Master, and my name is Vince Hunt, and I'm joined by the wonderful Jim Bampfield, Lizzie Boyle, Gavin Mitchell, and PJ Montgomery. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
They're all so excited, but they're always nervous before a session. I don't know why. Plus, they've been acting very childish just before we hit record on this.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, well, come on. It's a game.
Yeah, mostly PJ.
It's a games night.
Would I?
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you're oddly really serious in the game. So there's a real sort of a strange. You're a very interesting character, PJ Montgomery.
Called acting, darling.
Oh, his name. And yes, we have plenty of gaming to do this evening. And thank you very much for checking out the show. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. All of that good stuff. Leave nice comments below. And yeah, this is a survival horror game. And as such, just a warning right up. There may be descriptions of gore, horror, tension, psychological trauma, drug use possibly. There's a lot of adult themes that could possibly come up during this whole game. If that's not really your bag, just pull the ripcord. We totally understand, and thank you for joining us for this 30 seconds before you leave straight away. But no matter what,
our views.
I'm all about the stats. No, please, we hope you like the show. No, but in all seriousness, though, I have of course talked through with my players about their lines and veils and what we can do and can't do. What we are going to do is play an awesome game of survival horror, and you're all ready, aren't you, guys? After last episode's cliffhanger.
Yes.
With that sort of confidence and commitment, how can we not just skip past all this nonsense and get stuck into this week's episode of Safe Space? Last time, the crew of the O'Brien found themselves in yet another strange and challenging predicament. After receiving cryptic instructions on the intercom of his room, Dr. Forrest immediately ventured back out into the colony complex of Cassius Prime. First, he collected both Zam and Blaze, each in their own state of undress, and told them that they had to go and find Wendy in order to go on some wild goose chase. They found her in the middle of a short and sweet barroom brawl at Macready's, alongside their new acquaintance, Rico. Exhausted and confused, they together travelled below the colony to the spot of the fight club Wendy and Blaze took part in, although the rest of the party didn't really know of that. But instead of a fight club, they found a maintenance buggy with room for 4 and a box of rebreathers. Doc told Rico to go and try and find Captain Austin, who was nowhere to be found, as the crew jumped in the buggy and began following another vehicle, which seemed to be leading them deeper into the large tunnels of this facility. Their trip took them all the way across the structure, seemingly underneath the monorail and the other buildings and offices above them. until they found themselves amidst a labyrinthian junkyard, which was full of scrap and garbage beneath an enormous dome. From there they were led to a tucked away set of shipping containers in a dark corner of the dome, where masked individuals showed them into one that seemed to be home to a strange group of people, all wearing some form of makeshift workwear and ruined safety gear. A small community of people were seemingly living in the shadows of the colony and amongst all of this garbage. All of them seemed to be scarred or injured in some way, and soon it was revealed that they were the supposedly dead workers of Tunnel B6. They all looked somewhat different to the memorial images the crew had seen as they walked on the main part of the colony, and all of them eyed our intrepid spacers suspiciously. All except their spokesperson and self-proclaimed leader, Richard Bartlett. Despite the tense nature of the situation, Bartlett wished to ask the group for help. These strangers wished to leave this planet as soon as possible and saw the O'Brien as a means of salvation. They offered an assortment of goods as payment and hoped that the crew would be eager to leave before what Bartlett described as a reckoning descended fully upon the colony. Something he believed this place deserved, but still, he and his co-workers were not eager to be here when it happened. The O'Brien crew were in no mood to make quick deals. They were in no mood for a lot of things last session, and wished for further information and possible proof, and proof they got. As Doc Forrest stayed behind to help deal with some of and rebandage and some of the injuries that these people had sustained, Wendy stayed with him, just keeping an eye on, asking a few important questions of her own. But Zam and Blaze were taken further in to this dome, to one of the enormous cranes within it. It towered over vast skips of waste, and one in particular was of note. They climbed quite a distance that, beyond space and everything they'd seen, still scared both of these characters quite a bit. But this particular container that they looked at was full of discarded, damaged androids and mechanical equipment left in a huge pile. But when they looked closer, they saw that within it all, there was something they recognised. The torn and ruined torso of the O'Brien's android, Dick Sloan. And as they watched, they saw that it seemed to be moving, almost alive, and was now part of a seemingly large monstrosity that was slowly growing and merging with other parts within this huge garbage container. Something that reminded them of what they had seen aboard the cruise ship, the Icarus. Horrified, Zam and Blaze made it back to the group, and when they got there, Brazel wasted no time in telling his crewmates that they had to get off this planet as soon as they possibly could. And that's where we pick up our session this week. Within the dim halogen lit shipping container, for want of a better term, and to paint the picture once again, all of you are there now. There is also Bartlett, the figure on the chair, the leader, for want of a better term, of these people. There's the larger man, Boone, who was the one that initially sent the message to Doc Forrest. And there are 4 others within this room. I believe that's what we said last time. There's 4 other people, isn't there? And you within this container. Obviously, Zam and Blaze, you can see that some of these people now, as their jackets are sort of pulled back, you can see some fresh bandages and just Doc Forrest's work sort of on display. But Wendy and Doc, you see Blaze and Zam, drenched in sweat, a look in their eyes of terror. And Zam has just told you all that a reckoning is coming. As you do this, the other figures in the room are just watching. What do you do?
Slow down, Zam, and maybe explain.
Explain. You don't understand. There's a reckoning coming. We gotta get out of here. Look, look, look. And he's gonna shove the binoculars at him. Because we took a recording on binoculars.
He thrusts over like a small pair of like sort of mini sort of binoculars to your dock, and you can see there's a red light flashing on the corner of it. And as you sort of probably puzzled, looking at him puzzled, you sort of lift them up and you press the button in it, and it plays back. It's only like 8 seconds or so, and it's not the clearest footage.
Is it Zam's face?
He's got it on selfie mode. Oh no! Oh damn! I wish I had thought of that.
Is this thing on?
Yeah. But I would say, and it's a little bit shaky. And at first you're wondering, oh, what is this? It just looks like someone's videotaped trash. Until it focuses a little more, and you see the vision. Just a little, you catch a glimpse of Dick Sloane's torso seemingly moving, and there's no real detail as such, but there seems to be things moving beneath him.
Just like on the Eucharist, Doc. Look.
How the fuck does this stuff keep finding us?
We should get the captain.
As Bartlett, the voice of Bartlett sort of pipes up and echoes over the room. So I see you've seen it for yourself now. More inclined to believe us that we need to leave?
What I said.
Let me see. Let me see.
We gotta leave.
Wendy, you can
pass the binoculars to Wendy.
You see the same thing. As you're watching this, as Bartlett sort of continues. That is to be the great thing that purges this place.
There is nothing great about this thing. Where the fuck did it come from?
All I know is it is a gift.
No. This is no gift. This is death.
Yes, it is, isn't it? It will finally wipe this place clean of all of those who have just been bleeding it dry and leaving others to die in the dust and the mud.
You don't understand. This thing will feed on whatever is left here, on whoever is left here. It will take them, it will use them as energy, and it will use it to find a way off this planet and consume the next planet it comes across. There is no escape from this. It's not a holy weapon. It's not justice.
Oh, but it is.
It's just evil. Pure and simple. Now, who discovered it?
Bartlett sort of sits back, and Torvin, the one that came back with Zam and Blaze, raises their hand and just looks at you. Says nothing. Just glances over briefly from their mask. You can't really see their face, but they glance over to Bartlett before looking back to you.
When?
A day. 2. That was when I saw it. Who knows how long it's been here. I will say, and he looks to Bartlett. He turns from you and looks to Bartlett, and he points to Zam and Blaze. They recognized it.
I didn't really recognize it. We fought it.
I think he meant Dick.
So it would seem that maybe we are to be more grateful to you than we thought.
Fuck you.
I thought you were just going to be the saviors of our family.
We will try and save you, but we're also going to try and save everyone else on this planet. There is nobody here who deserves that.
There are more than enough that deserves what is coming to them.
You don't know what is coming. We have seen it. It has nearly killed us more than once.
You, Wendy and Blaze, as you stated in the last episode, you're always on point. Always on a swivel. Doc's oblivious to this because he's in the zone. But there's a tension rising in the room now. A sort of, you listen for the, when they aren't speaking, you hear like the creak of leather, you know, people maybe adjusting what they're doing. You can't necessarily see what's happening, but certainly the other people in the room are. They are watching. And as Doc's tone heightens, rightfully so. I'm not saying I'm not with it.
You're doing an excellent job, Doc.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But certainly they other people are being heightened at the same time. That's what you're gathering. I don't care what you do to try and save whoever you want to save. But you have no fucking idea what the suits have been doing here. And how little they care for this place. This will be a write-off.
Let me guess. They put their reputations, their profit, all of that. That's above whatever it might cost. Whoever it might cost.
You're an educated man, Doctor.
I am educated in more ways than you can possibly imagine.
Good. That's what I was hoping. Because
So we're all educated, man. Could we maybe use our
You're hardly
education to get
educated,
the hell
Zam.
out of here? I know where we need to be moving.
We do.
No, we gotta destroy that thing.
We do.
This recording. What's the distance? How high up were you?
you're probably 100 feet, 120, 50 feet. It was you know, one of those huge cranes. How tall are they? Yeah. Yeah, you're probably.
And it was this thing is just in one place?
Well, that's all I could see. I mean, Dick's all wrapped up in there, but it's moving. It's growing. God knows how big it is now.
And Wendy's
We're all
looking at
stood around here talking.
Bartlett and the other guy. It's like, you seen it anywhere else?
No. And Boone just shakes his head. It would seem that the angel arrived when you did. Torvin.
Doc just points at Torvin and just goes, "You. How much bigger was it today than when you last saw it?"
And figure sort of ponders for a moment. was bigger. I think at the rate it's growing, it'll be 3 days before it would fill that container. So there you go, Doctor. 3 days. If you really care about the people on this place like you say you do.
Got 3 days to blow the shit out of it then.
I will not be judged by you. We have 3 days. We can try and destroy it. While at the same time, while at the same time, we should make steps to begin the evacuation of the planet.
You will do one of those things. You will not do both. We cannot let you do both.
You don't really get a say in this. We're your only way off this rock.
Long before they die of their wounds, Doc.
The way you've been talking, Doctor, and I've been as cordial and as nice as I've possibly tried to be. But the one thing you have constantly said to me is you can't do anything without your captain. And I'm looking at you all now, and I don't see a pilot among you.
And that helps you how?
He's got the mask on, so you can't.
Yeah.
But you sense he sort of reclines a little bit in his chair. You can sense a smile. If you're not willing to help us like we thought you would, and you aren't the people that we thought you were, then it pains me to say that we may have to look at other alternatives.
For that, pal.
We will help you, but we're doing it our way. We're going to help you, and we are going to try and help everyone else on this planet. You have been the most cordial, religious zealot I have ever met. But that is what you are.
He's just like, as Boone sort of moves towards him, he's like, you seem to think you're in charge here, Doctor. A powerful, rich man like you. That must be a thing of habit. Have you ever had to survive without anything?
You have no idea what I've had to survive.
You've got no idea what we have. Whatever has happened to you and your gold chain wearing life, it's nothing to the pain and torment that we have existed in for 18 months. Save the people if you want, but leave the angel.
We can't do that. Doing that condemns more than just this world to death. You will not survive if the angel, as you call it, is left.
We have 3 days. We could put that to the test. Let's send one of them in now.
You need us, or you wouldn't have brought us here.
Well, I was told that you had done a great many things since being here. You had been quite a thorn in the side of this company. I was heartened by hearing tales of your exploits. But now I see, with my own eyes, that sometimes it's just stories. And maybe you're just company people after all.
Are Blaze and Wendy
Yeah, where are you
near each other?
Where are you standing currently? Blaze and the Doc, Wendy and Doc were fairly close to each other when the others came in, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'd still be nearish Zam. And I'm currently, I've got one hand behind my back in a restful pose, but on the grip of my pistol.
Lean into Blaze and just quietly say, how many of these do you reckon you and Wendy could take out?
Wendy, all of them.
Wendy's literally been strategizing how she's going to brutally destroy all of these weak people using only 2 small items she has in her pockets.
You just gotta keep
so
out of the way, Zam.
she might be just kind of slowly just kind of circling around.
Is she circling?
Not circling behind Bartlett, but just kind of in front of him, but almost like making a semicircle and kind of just.
You wouldn't be able to get too
slowly.
Close. If you went, you wouldn't be able to get any closer than 15 feet.
Yeah, but just kind of round the back,
And
just slowly.
And Boone watches you the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The big dude.
And I'm watching who's watching.
And it seems like, Wendy, as you say this, you're watching who's watching. Bartlett and the Doc are seemingly.
Bromance.
Yeah, Boone is he's clocking you. Do you know what I mean? And he's got like a large sort of, it's almost like a poncho sort of thing. So you can't really see the others are, as you can't see what he's got on him. But certainly you can see there's a tension. The body is tense in some ways as he's just watching you. As you sort of clock the others, there's also a tension there. Seems more of a nervous tension. Some of them maybe, and there's 4 others, and they seem unsure. Maybe some are maybe more sure than others. You know, you're not quite. But I would say with your brain, Boone's the one that's. He's just watching you.
Didn't they have makeshift weapons?
Yes, there are a couple of ones. Wendy took a crowbar from one of them.
So one of them's got a shotgun.
Bartlett's got a shotgun next to him. One of them has a fire axe. One of them, you can't really see what Torvin's got. One of them does have. What does he have? A bat of some kind, there's like a bat and a pipe. So they're very they're crude weapons. But
okay, so Bartlett seems to be the only one that's armed with a ranged weapon.
Yeah, and that's not far from him.
Okay.
But also, Doc knows that Bartlett doesn't have any legs, and Wendy knows this. Since you guys came back, the sort of tartan cover has gone back over him. And certainly Boone is no more than 5 feet away from him at any one time.
Okay.
Especially with Wendy's movement. If anything, he got closer. Told you it'd be
Not
tense,
kicking
folks.
anything off.
I'm gonna I'm going to lean in close to him, to Bartlett.
How close? You won't be able to get more than 10 feet.
Okay. I'm stepping towards him as close as I can, as I'm just saying, life's not a story. And you don't forget, I've treated you and your people. I know what you're suffering, and I sympathize with your plight. I can't imagine how the last 18 months have been for you. But do not presume that yours is the only suffering. Have you ever stared into the eyes of a child as the life fades from it? Have you lost everyone? Everyone who made your life worth living? That's also suffering. We are trying to help you, you idiot.
Make a social.
But we are not sacrificing others to do so.
Make a social roll with disadvantage. You put a little bit too much pepper on it.
Well, he's pissed me off. Either way's a failure. But it wasn't critical. I got a...
But you take the stress. You take the stress because obviously it's quite stressful.
53 and a 63, so...
Okay. For those wandering at home, obviously we're playing the Mothership. You have to roll under... you have stats and you have to roll... It's a D100 system. You have to roll under them. We have also adapted this one, so there's a social stat, which isn't in the normal core base game, but in the Warden's manual, it says you can take this game apart and you can add things to it. And because we love the RP, social just made sense. So, especially for moments like this and this failure. As Bartlett just sits there and listens. Someone moves. Wendy, you see someone begin to step towards the dock before Bartlett holds up a hand. He sort of shifts in his seat a little bit. Wendy, if you're sort of behind Blaze, you may notice that he shifts in his seat, and that shotgun's not too far from him. As he shifts in his seat, there's a sort of moment where he shifts, and you think, "Whoop! Oh no, he's not reaching for it." As he sort of looks at the dock. As you helped us. And we are grateful for that. This is not going to end the way some of us think it might. He briefly just looks at Boone, who still doesn't notice it, but is still just dead-eyeing Wendy. You have 3 days, Doctor. Remember what you said to us. Remember your offer to help. And don't do anything stupid. We'll be watching.
Oh, I have no doubt. And we will do everything we can.
And he sort of looks to the left where a figure... He sort of nods to a figure and they step up and close the crate full of goodies. And lock it back up again. I hope you understand. Once we know we can trust you, then you're welcome to all this. But for now, well, you better make a start. And you might want to get some rest. You look tired.
Someone woke us up in the middle of the night.
And once again, I apologize for that.
Someone interrupted a really good fight.
How she relaxes.
I finished
I
my job.
hate it when someone interrupts a fight.
And like
Boone.
Yeah. Boone is just staring at you, and he doesn't move. But if there was a silent head nod, you got it.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. And you hear as the door is pulled back, and Torvin sort of beckons you out. And you are free to go. What did the party do?
Before we do, can we retcon into the conversation?
Yeah. Yeah, of course, yeah. Go on.
Do we want to come back to have access to figure stuff? You know, if we want to kind of have a look, how do we? They'll be watching, but
I would say, after playing it all out, if you want to know whether you can come back into this the garbage and waste disposal sort of area, they're literally sort of like
they'll get us in.
You're free to do what you want.
Cool.
But they've told you what they want and what they'd like, and they're just leaving you to it. So you will be allowed.
Are we on our own currently?
If you choose to leave, you can leave, and I think if you want to leave this disposal area at the moment, Torvin will be there because there was the other maintenance buggy that led you here, and of course he took you on a little bit of a journey, or well, one of them took you on a little bit of a journey, so he would lead you back, unless you want to try and remember it yourself. But so it's up to you. Do you want to leave now? Do you want to go back to the main part of the station?
I mean, Wendy would quite like to go and have a look at the crane, the container, and so on, but I'm happy to come back and do that once we've figured out what our actual plan is.
Okay. When Wendy says this, how does Zam and Blaze?
But that's Wendy will only say that when we are discreet.
Okay.
Yeah, we've sent
because we don't really know what our big intention is yet.
We've told him to go wait by the car. We're just going to have a little scrum.
And he's just sort of watching. But yeah, you have a moment to yourself before you leave. And he's not. He's not doing that. He's just sort of waiting by that. Sort
When
of
we're all just like,
yeah. But yeah, you have a moment whether you want to stay here or whether you want to move back into the main area. What would the crew like to do?
Never have left Earth.
You made your choices, Doc. You made your choices.
Feels like our choices were made for us sometimes.
You should probably try and find the captain.
Huh? You want to find the captain?
Probably try and find the captain, yeah.
Okay, so you're heading back?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get back into the sort of maintenance buggy, and the figure that you heard was called Torvin. He steps in solo, leads you to, basically takes you on that windy way back. It's up to you.
Can I try and remember this route?
You certainly can. Make an intellect check.
Can I also do that?
Yeah.
Wrong character.
Of course, with all these places, I mean, you could say there is no like monuments or things of note, but certainly there would be, certain bits of like junk, mechanical junk that are sticking out in certain places that you could choose to be markers.
85. That's a failure.
I'm going to be honest with you, Doc. It all looks the same to me.
Junk is junk.
Okay. Blaze, did you fail as well?
Yep.
I so want Zam to roll that. I just want Zam to roll because junk is not junk.
Yeah.
See if he remembers.
Remember the junk.
Intellect.
Roll for offence.
Yeah. Intellect.
Junk. Roll for junk.
You will take a point of stress.
I add industrial equipment.
No, that wouldn't necessarily.
I was looking at industrial equipment.
It's junk.
That's like saying you're a chef, but you're looking in a bin at an old tomato.
Yeah. Look at the food waste, and you can tell what was made.
You know it's an old tomato if you're a chef.
Don't you just love it when the players really try to game the system? No, I'm being strong on this one. Zam, what did you get?
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. My intellect is 50.
Yeah.
And I rolled 30.
How is your intellect 50? Jesus.
So he recognises the junk.
I'm a smart guy.
Got higher intellect than me.
Against all odds. Is your intellect really 50, Sam?
50.
Mine's 48.
Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Yeah, you pretty much managed to figure out a couple of certain bits of mechanical equipment. You think you might be able to remember the route back to this particular spot where their home is. I don't want to say hideout. It's where they live. Or is it? But Zam, you can clock that away in your memory banks. But the other two gain a point of stress.
Can I also just... Kelvin is driving, yeah?
Yeah, he's driving, and it's same as before. He's about 20 meters in front of you, 10 to 20 meters in front of you at all times.
Oh, okay, so we're driving, following him.
Following him, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and he leads
Who's
you.
driving?
He leads you. Oh yeah, who is the doc driving again?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, knowing that, it probably would have been a check with disadvantage, but you failed anyway, Doc. So I'm not going to get you to roll again.
He's too busy looking for people to run over.
Those would be landmarks. It's the squashed bodies.
Yeah, yeah. It's too busy trying to collect the 3 shells that go around the cart. And Torvin sort of stops at the entrance doors to this tunnel, and you're free to sort of.
You hear Wendy go, "Break, break!"
What?
Jesus.
And he
roll for impact.
Well, I mean, he stops and lets you out. He opens the doors and lets you out. And there's that.
Can we just ask? Can Zam ask him something?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, before you go.
Yeah.
Before he gets, he sort of goes and he opens the door and he's walking back. So you've got a moment to.
So Zam's just going to turn to him and say, "Hey, do you believe all this? Do you want all those people to die?"
I want to live. And if you do too, I'd work fast. And he sort of briefly glanced over in the direction of where you imagine the container is.
Yeah, you know it's coming for you too, pal.
And there's a pause. And it's strange interacting with these people because they are literally wearing hazmat sort of suit, kind of, bits of different equipment. But sometimes there's just the way they move where you can kind of interpret hesitation. And he pauses for a moment and then turns back to the buggy. And he sits there and waits for you to leave. And you can have the long drive back to the social and living complex. You have a moment. A moment of, well, I mean, it does take a little while. It's not as fast as a train, but you have a moment between all of you.
And do we emerge back at Fight Club?
Yeah. There is a
we
point.
don't drive all the way home, sort of thing.
Yeah, there is a point. Because Fight Club was still a little turn a bit here, turn a bit there, underneath.
Yeah.
But yeah, you eventually, if the party have no interaction, just quietly thinking about
the dog would like to bring up. I think we brought it with us. I think that thing killed Dick, and when we brought Dick here, there was a piece of it in him.
I would like that to be true because that is the most optimistic version of events. Because if we didn't bring it, someone else did, or it came on its own, or it came from here, and I don't like any of those.
We're all agreed we have to destroy it, right?
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Like, we can't let it take over the place. And we're not
Really?
taking those nutbags with us, are we?
We have to prepare for the worst. We can't just let them die.
Even the nutbags.
Sadly.
Damn it.
We can't pick and choose whose lives we save, please.
But Hole Punch,
You and that hypocrite.
that woman that runs the place, Hole Punch, can we let her just... No?
It's tempting, Wendy, but...
Okay. I'll just do that one myself.
I didn't hear that.
The buggy continues. Oh, carry on.
We did this on a big scale, right? All this is a small scale ship with a thing in it, and we know we can blow it up.
But we need to get past Bartlett. We don't know how many more men he has.
Well, we do.
I mean, just those... like 4 and Boo?
He said there were 7 of them
He
to
said
come
he
with
wa-
us.
Yeah.
Just 7.
But
Right, we could take
I've
7.
seen their injuries, Blaze. You and Wendy could snap them all like twigs in 20 seconds.
Do we want to do that, though?
Not really, but
we
you
know
know,
we
we've got to
ain't
prepare
Undo all
for the
your good
worst.
work, Doc.
I mean, it's easy to destroy that box from a distance with the things with the things around us. That's fucking
Child's play.
yeah, 101.
That's shooting fish in a barrel.
Thank you.
We're working on an assumption. We think the Icarus is dead. That its death rattle killed Quill, but at the moment, we don't know that for sure.
Option 2. Are there any there are other ships, like the shuttle that we used in version 1.0 of this plan. Could we get the box on a ship and
Fly it into a sun.
Zam and Blaze, you would know that this thing is a massive container and it's not fitting on.
They ain't gonna pick that thing up and try and stick it on a ship.
Yeah.
I don't want to get close.
The closer we go to it, the more it tries to kill us.
If they weren't civilians, I say we nuke it from orbit.
We might have to consider that, which is why as soon as we get back, we need to try and convince the bureaucrats here to begin an evacuation plan. That's going to be even harder than dealing with Bartlett and his self-righteous bullshit.
I mean, we could just leave. I'm not saying that's the right or moral or appropriate thing to do. I'm just putting it on the list.
Could you do it, Wendy?
Could I, what, just leave?
Knowing that you could have saved all those lives.
We can give them the choice. If they don't want to join us, then that's up to them.
There's only so many can be fit on the ships that are here.
Which is why we're
In
going to try and
3
destroy
days.
it. We have to do
Yeah.
everything. I am not abandoning this place or these people.
What happens to your friends, Doc, if we kill that thing?
I don't know if it's one entity or different creatures, but their connection was with the Icarus. Maybe they'll be okay. I would like to keep them close to hand, just in case, though. I've saved them once.
We can find the cab.
Yes.
And eventually you make it back to the structure. Do you park the buggy up where you had it before?
Handbrake turn.
I don't park it neatly. It's just a stop and.
While the rock music plays, and Doc gets out without even stopping. And then
Puts
goes,
on some sunglasses and the buggy explodes.
This episode directed by Michael Bay.
In your inventory, you can add rebreathers because you've still got them.
Rebreather.
Yeah. That was something that, of course, you had to put on whenever you were outside of that. Wait, did I say you were wearing them when you were talking to Bartlett? I think you could remove them at that point. I
don't think you specified.
Yeah, I think it would.
I'd have to rewatch the last episode, and it's not out yet.
Yes, it is, folks. Go back and rewatch the last episode, then drop in the comments what I should have known by making notes.
They fucking will, Vince.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll say that while you were in there, there was you could take the rebreathers off for a moment. It's still, and certainly that was a sensory experience being in that place that smelt a little bit like a bunker and infection, and just it was just added another layer of this isn't very nice. So maybe you wanted to have the rebreathers on sometimes just to clear the air a little bit. But certainly if you were outside, you wouldn't be in that sort of garbage waste disposal area. You would know this. You could survive. It's not like you would take it off and then, but it's harsh. It wouldn't be long before it made a definite impact on your breathing and just your general goodwill.
Like going into the bathroom after Zam.
No one wants to do that. Everyone's rolling a panic check or a fear save.
We've got rebreathers now, so it's fine.
And a crowbar.
All you need is rebreathers and a crowbar.
Let me out! Do they have limited uses, these rebreathers, or is it like...
No.
Just, you've got it.
I mean, they are sort of a mechanical piece of equipment, so they could possibly malfunction. It's just something to bear in mind.
There's no like ammo or reserves or anything like that.
No.
Okay, cool.
At least I'm not ruling it in this game. It's just something that just keeps a filtration system that helps you a little bit. I mean, that's not to say it isn't something that shouldn't be maintained. You'll probably have to look after it a little bit. But there's certainly, you don't have to put new cartridges in and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, and you make it back and begin the walk back up to the main complex. And I will take you back to the map of the main complex just for your reference.
And it's presumably like early morning?
It is early morning. You are tired. You are all tired.
It's still the same fucking night I did that autopsy, isn't it? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So soon you're going to need to rest. So bear that in mind.
We tried.
Bear that in mind. Survival horror, baby.
Well, 3 days and he wants us to rest.
Well, the thing is, there is a clock. Game mechanically, there's a clock. You've got 3 days. Do with that what you will.
About 15 episodes the right week.
How long was it before we were going to get picked up or stuff dropped off?
It was probably about 5 days. You only had a matter of days before one of the...
Convenient.
Yes.
Oh.
So
that was them coming to bring the stuff that we needed to fix our ship.
Yeah.
But
they were going to fix the ship as well.
They were going to fix the ship while it was there. Now, I will say this, and Zam, you know this more than anyone. Ship repairs and stuff can be made in space. I mean, it's probably going to be a bit easier because they could, they wouldn't need all the gear to be working on it. But that is something that could possibly be done if needed to in the future. Which would probably be why Zam is more okay about just getting off the planet, I would imagine. He's like, I can deal with this later. It does mean you're still without high. You couldn't go through the jump gate, but you can travel. Do you know what I mean? You can travel in space. So just another thing to factor in mind of like what potentially you got to think about.
When we were coming here, where was Dick?
Is that to me?
He was in a box.
He was in storage. Yeah, he was in storage.
In the storage box.
Mm.
We had a little ceremony and everything.
And
was it a very, very tight storage box?
Yeah. And he was brought in with you all, and then obviously put in the Cassius Prime thing. Captain was just planning to clean him up.
No way that anything could have got out of that storage box. I'm giving Vince ideas now.
You don't know?
Zam's just had a thought.
Zam's just had a thought. Oh, blimey.
Remember when we got the recording from the relay station?
Hmm.
And we played it? And it played that noise?
Right.
Did we cause this?
You mean like we awokened it?
I've gone piratey.
Yar!
We've woken it, the Kraken.
You were on the Indianapolis.
Carrying on.
Episode 4 takes a real different trajectory to this whole series. Doc,
I was a pirate all along.
I love the sea.
Of tranquility.
Sorry. Thanks, yeah, space.
Yeah, Doc, you would remember if you, after that all happened, you were with Sarah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Gonna want to check in.
Yet another thing to think about.
Yeah.
As you make it up to the social complex, are you heading straight back to your rooms? What is the plan?
Can we see anyone we
Captain.
You
I'll wait in the bar for the captain because she likes her bacon.
Yes.
I mean, we sent Rico to find the captain as well. Maybe we find Rico.
I'm gonna go captain's quarters, see if she's there.
As you're walking off, before Blaze gets too far, and certainly at this point, it's a little bit busier. There's a few more people heading towards their shifts. There are people having breakfasts, and you know the day is properly starting. This is a place where the day doesn't, it never really stops. It's always on shifts, but there are certain points of this place that feel like it's the start of a working day, and this is now it, which makes you realise I haven't slept. It makes you feel like it's morning and you got absolutely no sleep the night before. And as the group, Wendy, did you head off straight away? You wouldn't be allowed in McCready's, but it would be the last call you would probably.
Where's the bacon place?
The bacon place.
The pub with the bacon.
The bacon place. Because it's like a breakfast sort of canteen sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah, there's an Explore Company canteen, which is where she's gotten her coffee and her crispy burnt bacon, which is pretty busy.
Yeah.
And as Wendy sort of heading in that direction, and the rest of you look over, you recognise a couple of figures walking from the direction of, like, in the distance where the monorail is, past the biodome, and you can see the figures of Rico, and just beside her, with a face like thunder, is Captain Austin, she seemingly is just in her own world, and you can see like she's gestating, sort of gesturing wildly, and Rico's just saying nothing, and she's just sort of heading towards you. As soon as she clocks where you are, she's heading in your direction. And as they get closer, You can start to hear the captain going, "Never in all my life have I met a more belligerent pencil pusher than that woman. I swear in all that is holy, if it wasn't going to get us all in trouble with the guys that pay our wages, I would have slapped the Sam hells out of her. Just 'cause she got a fancy name badge, she thinks she can talk about my ship and my crew like that. Fuck her. The sooner we get off this rock is better, if you ask me."
The captain's gone more southern.
And as she continues on, and it just keeps going, sort of Rico just sort of looks up to you all, and you can see the look on her face. She's quite tired, and she sort of thumbs towards the captain and sort of, "Found her."
Yes, that happens when she's angry.
Oh, Doc, it's so good to see you. You look exhausted, honey. What's the matter with you? And Sam, why are you covered in grease?
Damn right. Completely out of the blue, he's just gonna hug her. Oh my god, I thought you were dead.
No, you can let go. I love you too, honey. Just, no, wow, dead? Why would I be dead?
Captain!
Watch your back, Captain.
Captain!
What?
We found Dick!
You found him? Where
Where
is
have
he?
Some things to say that we should maybe say not in a public square.
And as the captain's sort of looking around like, what the? There's a flick of a lighter, and Rico just lights a cigarette. Follow me. And that's where we're going to go to break.
Ooh.
What?
A very tense but very interesting first half of the show. Join us back here in 5 minutes as once again the crew of the O'Brien have to figure out what the hell they're going to do. See you in 5.
Explosions.
It's always explosions.
Yeah, in the end.
And welcome back. So, as the crew have reconvened, and Rico, looking tired after spending whatever amount of time listening to a ranting Captain Austin, she leads you off the beaten path. She doesn't lead you into one of the public sort of areas. She takes you up some steps, and there's a few sort of viewing platforms at certain points that don't really have anyone on them. They're sort of maybe for maintenance. You're not quite sure what they're for. They're decent size. There's not exactly like loads of chairs etc. set up, but she leads you to a spot where there's a couple of sort of crates set out. One particularly looks like it's been there for a while, but when she gets there, she moves a couple of others to be like makeshift sort of seats, and from there you can look. As you look down, you can actually look down at the milling around. If you imagine when you go to like one of the bigger London train stations, and you're at the top of the stairs and you're looking down at all the people on the platforms, you know, going to their different platforms etc. and all that. It's that kind of view, and no one seems to be noticing. No one's looking up, and Rico sort of looks at you like, okay, this should be private enough, so please take a seat. She sort of smokes and she leans down and puts it out in a small little metal dish that you notice has a few sort of cigarettes in there, and it wouldn't take much to figure out this is maybe a quiet space that she goes to from time to time without being bothered. And you can all sort of, but the captain's sort of looking. So what the hell's going on?
We met the survivors of B6.
What? What do you mean survivors? They were that monument.
Yes, well, that's a crock of shit, Captain.
What the hell? I don't. She's just running her hand through her hair. Now, if there's any part of the story you want to tell her, but we don't have to go through it all again.
Then he said.
And then he said, you can just sort
And
of
then
like,
the dog called this guy an idiot.
yeah, I tell her this, or you know, and we can certainly do that for any point. You don't have to necessarily RP it out, but
I think
Wendy's
before
still got
we
the binoculars, isn't she?
Wendy's still got the binocular, yeah.
So
Which
we can
was
show her the
interesting
footage.
because they didn't take that. They're not your binoculars.
Oh, cool. Game
just take a
binoculars.
Mm.
Video binoculars.
before we do tell the captain everything, the doc would just like to turn to Rico and just ask, Rico, can we trust you?
Well, I found you, Captain.
And I just need a straight answer to this.
Yes.
Thank you. And then we'll tell the captain.
There was a certain there's no real insight check in Mothership, but I like the idea of Doc reading this. So just give me a social roll. This won't involve stress, PJ, but this is you reading her because she paused for a bit.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Can Wendy also, having shared a drink and a fight with this woman, can Wendy also just do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 57, so that's a fail.
Okay.
3.
3.
Oh,
Soul sister.
Yeah.
Read it like a book.
She's I'm going to run this like an insight
I've
check.
wasted a 3 now. I'm
Yeah.
going to wish I had that one back later.
She's not lying. You can trust her. You can trust her because you're all in this together. And she's leaving with you lot. You're the ticket. And
can I just... The way the doc sort of read this was when he said to her, just give me a straight answer, the fact that she just did for him was like, okay, there we go. That's fine then.
Yeah. And she was ready. It was almost like her first instinct was to ask a question instead of giving an immediate answer. And Wendy, I would sort of say you would sort of figure out she's eager to help you guys out, and certainly she will do. You know, she probably feels like she's. Is it fun? Is it something? There's something there that's like.
Is there a little bit of marine code that's in there somewhere as well, which is like, okay, you're about to be told something, and
yeah,
this is important. And,
yeah. Definitely, there's a sort of zoning in, sort of like, okay. Because also the Doc and Rico. I mean, you haven't necessarily witnessed this, but certainly when they've had their private moments, they've been a little bit at each other.
What, me? No.
But Doc spoke to her in a different way this time. And certainly Wendy, you know that Rico said to you, you know, what is it with him? You know, seemingly she's got a read on him in some way. So she must have read that and just been like, okay, I'm with you. That kind of thing.
And then we tell them everything.
Yeah. Okay. And you tell them everything? Like, just for my notes, what do you...
I don't think we'd leave anything out, would we?
I mean, maybe the naked bit.
Yeah, I don't mention that I'm scared of heights.
I especially mentioned the nudity.
That's fine.
Doc, why you've been talking about that for 5 minutes? Why do you have to do that?
Because I had to suffer through it, so
you're a medical man. You're so descriptive. And certainly, like, the captain's gone a little pale. Certainly you've had your conversations about, did we cause this? Did we do this? How do you want to communicate that? Do you communicate that to her?
Well, Zam was with her when they played the recording. So Zam will just outright, like he did, he'll say, Captain, I think we may have started this when we played that recording.
Or it's possible we brought it in, Dick.
Gets me every time.
If at any point Rico is looking like she wants to to jump in, Wendy's just going to kind of be looking at her going, just wait, kind of wait with your questions. This is not yet for you to ask questions.
Yeah. And I would say there's a definite difference in complexion to the two figures. Rico's just listening to it, taking it all in. Doesn't seem to be, there's no look of shock. It's almost like listening to a briefing, that kind of thing. The captain, however, seems to get paler and paler as it goes on, and she does say, "Rico, honey, is there an empty sort of a box or something anywhere?" "Yeah, there's one down there. Thank you very much." And she looks like, "Oh my God, we gotta do something to help these. This is so fucked."
I think the problem we have, Captain, is they don't seem to want to listen to us very much here.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth. I've spent most of this evening talking to that Henriksen woman.
I hate her.
Not as much as I do.
Well,
And do you hate everyone?
That's not true.
it is kind of true, Wendy, but this time I'm on your side here, honey. I mean, I've seen a few suits in my time and people that just check boxes on forums, and she is company through and through. She has a real, well, I guess it could work in our favor, because that woman wants us all off this planet as soon as humanly possible.
Ooh.
Don't get me wrong, she hates you all with the power of 1,000 suns, and I hate her equally so. I do not know quite what you did to ruffle her feathers, but
I look at Doc.
We had a run-in.
I see.
You know me and bureaucrats, Captain.
Yeah. No, I don't need the box. Okay.
She, Hole Punch, wants us off the planet.
Hole punch.
And
I like that. That's
She follows the rules. So what? But she won't listen to us because we're us. But what if there was something that meant she had to get everybody off the planet quickly?
You mean evacuate this whole place?
She could be a hero. She could get promoted.
We need to force her hand. Call it like a bomb threat or something.
Either that, or you make the threat a little more real.
Yes, we do want to actually blow this thing up.
Whatever it takes, we gotta get off this godforsaken rock.
Whatever we do, you gotta be clever about this. You got 3 days, right? Before whatever the fuck they were talking about happens.
Before it spills.
The way
This is a mine, right?
Yeah.
Mines have disasters.
Rico sort of cocks her head a little bit and looks at you, Zam. And she smiles. They do indeed. One of the issues you're going to have, if you want to cause a scene, if you want to run around blowing shit up, that gets you attention. And I don't think attention's what you want right now. If you can make it as Wendy said. So it seems like they're evacuating everyone before the shit goes down. Well, there's a lot you can do with that. You can move under the radar, get shit done, and then pull the fire alarm. Force their hand. But if you run off half-cocked because you want to blow something up, what happens if you succeed? Where does that get you? If they already fucking hate your guts now, how are they going to feel when you've blown up half of their waste disposal dome?
I mean, can they hate us anymore?
Oh,
but you're
there's
right.
always
Rico.
room for more hate.
Oh, we have some people that could. Some people that might be motivated to blow up half of the garbage and recycling plant, even if there was nothing down there. They're already down there.
Bartlett
They're
won't let them
angry.
blow it up.
No, but if it blows up, who's to say who did it? I don't know.
So you're suggesting...
Careful. They said they're watching us.
Well, the way I see it, and Rico sort of looks around. They do a lot of their watching from down there. I think
Rico, do you have any pull at all with anybody in this godforsaken place?
Pull. Fuck, they hate my guts. But, to be honest, I hate most of them anyway. But they stay out of my way. And, well, obviously I made a few connections here and there. Not necessarily with the bigwigs. I certainly haven't
useful.
been under any scrutiny from any administrators or hole punchers.
They're bets.
Oh, that's your friend, isn't it, Zam?
She's everybody's friend. I don't really make friends.
Rico smiles at that. He's telling the truth. He doesn't really. He does. I mean, we love him, but Zam's Zam. I don't know what to say. Well, I don't know what she can do, but she's hardly a. She's just a blue collar, like you, like me, like all of us. I wouldn't go around expecting anyone with any kind of authority to help.
Don't we have some shit on them that we could force them into it?
What shit have you got on? What are you talking about, Zam? What shit are you talking about?
Oh, he's right. I spent so long telling everyone that these people died in this accident, and they are very much not dead.
Now, I just want to get this straight. We've gone from boom, 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 let's get the fuck out of here, to blackmailing people? I mean, that's quite...
It's a creative crew.
Well, as I'm learning every day, Wendy.
Captain, we can't just leave people to die. We've got to do something.
No.
We could also buy the planet.
None
We
of
have
us
a
are that
billionaire.
rich.
One of our friends is very rich.
And the captain just sort
I
of
don't know.
goes
I'm making
white
shit
again.
up. I just want to blow up a crate.
God, we need to get them out of here. We need to get them back to our ship. Doc,
I need to check on them anyway.
please tell me you know someone in that infirmary that can help.
I hope so.
Because if this shit's going down, I do not want those folks. I want them where we can look after them.
As do I.
Well, it looks to me like we've got a job list. Question is, how loud do you want to do this?
We start quiet, and if we need to increase the volume as we go.
Are you accustomed to increasing the volume of these kind of operations, Doctor?
I've been known to be loud when I need to be. Sometimes
That's not what I meant.
to my detriment.
There may be points where you're going to have to sit back and shut up and let other people get their hands dirty. And she looks to Wendy, and then she looks to Blaze. Now, I know you want to save people, Doctor. But if people get hurt, how do you feel about that? Because if anyone finds out, whatever plan we do, if anyone finds out what we're attempting, whether it's going to save lives or not, they're going to get in our way.
Minimum casualties.
Minimum casualties.
And if we have to break a few arms, I'll just fix them.
You don't have to go that far, Doc. Just leave it at the breaking arms. I think we'll be right. What the hell are we talking about? Blaze, honey, you've been awfully quiet. What do you think?
I mean, I'm just thinking about blowing that thing up. They had crates.
You wanna do that? Is that?
I still remember the Icarus, Captain.
I grip my leg.
Yeah.
There's only one way to deal with this thing.
The pain still stings, and when you grip the leg, it's almost like the pain tingles again. The leg tingles a little bit.
It's a shit. It just won't stop, Vince.
Look, whatever you do, I mean, I don't want to hear about any broken bones or goddamn minimum casualties. I want to get our people and my ship off this planet. And I don't want anyone we gotta do something to get them all off.
We can't leave that thing to grow.
That's right, we have to do both.
So, blackmail and boom boom.
That's an episode title, I think.
I'll write that down.
Blackmail and boom.
Yeah.
A new child-friendly spin-off.
Child friendly. Well, there's a way. What if you overloaded the machinery? This place would go up like a firework. They'd have to evacuate it. 2 birds. But that route means that we might have to... We might have to be a little bit creative with our storytelling. All I'm saying is we've got options. And she sort of leans back and crosses her arms.
This thing is organic, isn't it? Kinda.
Hardly.
I mean, I don't know much about flowers and trees and shit. I mean, I was gonna spend some time looking at them in the biodome, and then we got busy again. But are there ways to kill living things? Doc, you'll probably know this, that are maybe a little bit quieter. Like
Poison, you mean?
Poison or acid or salt or I don't know.
I know this thing has organic
Can you-
components, but I haven't studied it enough to know its physiology.
But if there's enough robot parts, could we use an EMP? Could that kill it?
I think we need
Sure
to
we
explore
can.
multiple routes.
We need to go back.
I look at Wendy.
Marine side mission. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. It's reconnaissance.
Zam, what do you think? Obviously, if we get off this rock, the ship still needs fixing, but
We can fix the ship up there.
yeah.
Got us this far, Captain. She can get us a bit further.
Well, we can't contact Gibbous while we're on this rock because the communication station's up the wazoo, so we'd have to contact them when we got up there.
Priority's gonna be get off and try to kill that thing we can.
Rico just goes, so what's the plan? And now, players.
Oh, mate.
You have 3 days. Several different possible ways to do this. There is another thing that Rico would say. There's I've potentially, if you need some gear, I've potentially got some stuff that could be useful. I was hoping to have more, but when I went back to where Banjo was stashing all his stuff, that was ransacked. All that stuff's gone. I'm guessing wherever that piece of shit is hiding, he's taking his stuff with him. But I know, for instance, there's a few key cards and uniforms of some workers who haven't clocked in for a shift for quite a few days. I think 5 in total. That's how many there was, wasn't it? At that point, the captain's like, what's she talking about? Oh, I'm nothing, Captain. I just potentially, if you need it, it's there. I mean, the uniforms are different size. I mean, Blaze here is quite a big, strapping fella, so I think, yeah, I think one of them will fit him perfectly. But But that's up to you. And then she asks what the plan is. So, players. Several different things on the table. Lots of different parts that could possibly be played. The only thing that is kind of set in stone in any way is 3 days and you haven't slept.
Well,
so you don't have to
Wendy.
RP, but plan.
Wendy!
you wanted to go back and have a good old squatch at Dick in his box. Which, yeah,
Yeah.
I have to come with you. I want to do some reconnaissance.
Kind of assuming, like, if scenario 1, plan 1, blow it up, just deal with the renegades and walk away.
Yeah, the guns blazing option.
Or blow it up and then come out and then, see what Bartlett does in response. No, if he follows us out, then we can go, who are you?
I'll tell you what he does in response. He dies from us shooting him.
Yeah.
That's...
Yes, probability of Bartlett death, high.
High death route.
Yeah.
But do you think...
But we have to be very confident that we destroyed the thing.
That's what I'm concerned about, is I want it to be destroyed for definite, rather than just setting a fire or something and running away and not checking.
Whereas if it's not destroyed, then we might have to do, let's evacuate as many people as we can, then do the let's hope it destroys it.
Damn.
Could you sneak the EMP in as part of your reconnaissance?
Do you have an EMP?
That's what I was just asking. Because I mentioned it, but I didn't
We can A-team it somewhere, I'm sure.
Can we buy one?
Hey, Rico!
Enough
How big are they?
Like salvage to build an electromagnet.
Should he go with you?
Maybe you all go.
Oh, I don't want to.
Oh, Vince doesn't want to split the party.
This whole campaign is splitting the party. I'm used to it, Gav.
Excellent. Let's all do individual missions.
I can really overload the machinery. Because that will prompt the evacuation.
It's got to be a big fucking...
This whole colony, this complex... I'll take you back to the other map just for your reference.
Could we just trigger a warning?
As much as you've got, there's the social area, and it is all based around an absolutely enormous drilling structure, the power of which is probably unfathomable what's going on, because it is the biggest. It's a complex by itself, this whole drilling. The drill that's doing it. And if you can do something with that, who knows how big that's going to explode.
That's not an enticing option, because you don't want to make too big a bang and we've wiped out everyone. And also, if we set fire or set off the garbage and recycling plant, if we blow that up, because these are pods, do they get hull breach kind of? They shut down section.
Yeah, they would probably just the shutters would come down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On certain parts.
Which I don't know would trigger a full site-wide evacuation.
Zam, can you give me an intellect check, please?
Safe procedures around heavy equipment.
And
what's the?
Zam's been he's been a colony man, and he's been a blue collar worker. He hasn't had that.
What can I add to this? May I add industrial equipment to this?
Industrial equipment, yes.
Yeah.
Finally.
And jury rigging. You can add jury rigging as well if you want.
As well?
Yeah.
Well, my intellect is 50. I rolled a 53. But even if I just add industrial equipment, that takes it up to
Yeah.
60, so that would be a success.
Yeah, you have. Obviously, you've been more of a mechanical sort of man. You shifted into that sort of realm of like the ships and the engines and just everything else. But you're no stranger to big, like this huge industrial equipment. Something like this, essentially, and it's not. This is something that may have happened before, but it could go thermonuclear. But it doesn't just happen like that. It would overload, and the place would be evacuated. There are things you would know that if something happened here, there are procedures in place for, because they would have an enormous, powerful drill. Something goes wrong with that. We need to get all of the people off this planet safely. So it may not be in the ships that you've seen, but there's probably evacuation procedures in place. They would have them. It's just part and parcel. But because of how big that drill is, that could be possibly a planet chucker. Yeah.
Cool.
We could make this place go boom, and everybody should get off safe.
Yeah.
And what was the blackmail angle?
I think we said we'd blackmail them, but without a specific goal in mind.
Sounds like blackmail.
Oh, because they knew we knew the people had survived and they'd said they were dead.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a
So to clarify your options, you've got the
I like that one though.
You've got the industrial sabotage, the one that was just sort of pointed out. You have the possibly more espionage, blackmail, that kind of option as well. Getting others to maybe do the dirty work while you're sorting out something else. You've also got the run and gun. If you want to do that. If you want to deal with the monster first and deal with whatever happens afterwards. Or
is it possible
the option that Wendy said, you could just leave.
Written out on my list, option 3. Run away. Just run away.
Yeah.
But Doc's got issues with that.
The doc wants to check in with Sarah and Tex Richmond. I can't remember his name.
Roy,
thank you.
Always know the name of the billionaire.
Roy Zetterling, I believe his name was.
There we go. Yes, Roy Zetterling. And as you say, move them to the Susan O'Brien and Admiral Mittens as well. Move Admiral Mittens to the Susan O'Brien.
Yeah. Yes, because you've got to think over these days, there could be a case of, for instance, if you're going to move people that are in an infirmary and safely get them to the ship, and if you want to do it the right way, that's still going to be like, that would probably be half a day getting certain people, and that includes the cat, PJ. I will include that.
Better save the
getting them
cat.
to the ship is half a day's plan. That whole thing will be half a day.
But I also want to check if Sarah and Roy are if they're conscious at all, and just if they have any sense at all of anything.
Yeah, it's an because it's an unknown currently, isn't it? So
yeah,
that makes sense.
So what is the plan? What are we doing?
I think we go thermonuclear.
Okay.
If we blow everything up, which obviously ZAM really, really wants to do, pretend the thing is not in the box. There is no dick in a box.
Oh God! I didn't realise when I created the scenario. It's dick in a box.
Seriously?
I know. I really fucking didn't.
It this entire time.
Until you look at it, you don't know if he's alive or dead. So it's
Schrodinger's dick.
It's Schrodinger's dick.
Yes, Wendy, as you were saying.
Oh, classy lady. Yeah, if there was a massive kind of explosion now, just because of an industrial accident, would they evacuate? Would they be able to evacuate Do you know what I mean? Is that there needs to be some real motivation for the whole punch to evacuate the whole planet.
It would have to be essentially like a controlled explosion. Do you know what I mean? You would definitely have to set it up so it overloads. You know, something happens or there's an explosion, everything overloads, which sets in the evacuation procedure.
Yeah.
You know, if the whole thing just blew up, everyone's dead.
Yeah.
So it's a case of it needs to be.
But there would be. We'd be able to figure out there is an evacuation procedure which would get people off. Yeah. They'd have the ships for that.
Yeah.
I'd imagine like just turning the. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just going to say the doc agrees with Zam though. We've got to do the biggest explosion possible to try and make sure this fucking thing dies. We can't do half measures.
But what if we? So I'm assuming the big drill has like a coolant system that if you turned off, that's a time it's going to overheat and stuff like that. So if you really fuck that up, so they can't fix it, you force everyone to evacuate.
Yes.
But then that gives us a little window to bomb the shit out of garbage and recycling plant.
If there's an evacuation in process, this whole thing, you know, certain things are going to shut down. But you can imagine, even if it's organised chaos, isn't it? The panic will be setting in. It's everyone to the buses, you know. So while that happens, you naturally, and the military people would know. Well, the thing about chaos is a good umbrella from which you can do whatever the fuck you want sometimes. So
I'd imagine security protocols kind of go out the window a little bit. Because
a lot of the security are going to be dealing with getting people out and like trying to stop shit, and you know, an evacuation on a sort of like a global scale in this sense changes everything. So, but the chaos could also give you more problems. It could be, you know, there could be certain things, and you know, nothing's going to be easy or straightforward.
So I think step one is get Sarah, Roy, and Admiral Mittens onto the O'Brien, and get the doc to check in with them. Then we all fucking rest.
Mm-hmm. I'm asleep while you're doing that, though. Like, I'm already getting.
Fair enough.
You've got half a day's work to do.
Yeah, I would say the captain would be with you on that dock. She'd be with, you know, get them, and she'd probably be like, "I'm going to stay on my ship."
Yeah.
Until we're ready to go, you know.
And then once we've got them safe and we've all had a chance to rest a little bit, we start the process of boom.
I would say in the evening, just because there will be fewer workers, Vince?
There's a few,
Shift change.
Just 24 hour or like
shifts. I mean, even though it's 24 hour, there are shift changes. So this time when you're talking about it is busy, but as you know, later on in the day it gets less busy, and you know, people are chilling out more.
I'm sure Rico can tell us what time the shift changes are and stuff. Yeah, sorry then.
She normally has a shift, but she seems completely nonplussed about sacking that off.
Oh, well, it's all going to shit now. So
she's going to pull a sickie.
Yeah,
what's the point?
Yeah.
What about the? Sorry, go on, Jim.
I was just going to say, are we splitting into two groups to achieve this? Because the issue we've got is the only one who remembers how to get back to.
Oh shit! You, and you're the one that needs to fucking sabotage.
I need to be blowing up the drill.
Sabotage.
Depends. Depends.
But we can go back in and recce it, and you can teach us the way back out.
Can you draw us a map?
Or just go, look for this thing, count to 12, look for that thing.
And we don't know what the hell he's on about. Like, it's a really specific part.
Like, take some chalk or some breadcrumbs. A little trail of bacon.
Yeah, and you're all quite tired at the moment, so it could affect the quality of the maps.
What are our intentions about the renegade people? I'd need to know. I need a gang name for them, so they're just the renegades. But Bartlett's potatoes.
Evacuate them if we can, and
Bartlett's
the brands of potatoes are available.
That is. I was going to say the survivors, or you know, Tunnel B6, but you've just done the classic thing of a player has just named something and it's stuck. No matter what the DM or the warden does, doesn't matter now. Doesn't matter what name they came out with. It doesn't matter, and it's beautiful.
Here we fry them.
Okay. Fry 'em, boil 'em, and mash 'em. Anybody want to do anything with them apart from
Stick them in a stew.
leave them to their own demise?
I'd like to try and evacuate them, but I seem to be the minority.
You don't evacuate people, you evacuate places.
As a doctor, he can do both.
He can if he wants. I mean, got your rubber hose and some like olive oil. I'm sure you can.
Panic check.
Well, let's say, we give him the option to leave, but it's up to them.
Are we sneaking in, or are we hitting? Are we just?
I think you go there on the pretense that you're doing another recce. Because you told them that you were going to be back.
Yeah, we can ask them some stuff.
Yeah, just say like, oh, our
Random
captain
stuff.
needs more. Like, she needs more accurate confirmation that it's Dick or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the 3-day plan? Which isn't a weight management system. I just want to say to anyone watching, it's
We're
Well,
just
I'm
gonna
gonna
eat
do some
potatoes.
it's just potatoes,
calisthenics.
just potatoes, constantly. So how are we starting this with day one?
I think before he gets any rest, the doc's going to want to get Sarah, Roy, and Admiral Mittens to the ship.
Okay, so you're going to spend half a day. That's your immediate.
And then I'll sleep on the ship.
Okay.
Can I requisition that Bernice has moved from there, wherever they've got her locked up, back onto the ship?
Back onto the ship, yeah. And the captain would be insistent, like, yeah, fuck it. These people aren't having that.
Is it Blaze's pistol as well?
Blaze has got his pistol on him. Oh no, Blaze Blaze got his
No.
pistol taken off, didn't he?
I've got one of my pistols taken off me.
One taken off,
Yeah.
and he's got a hidden one.
Yeah. So if you want her to retrieve something, she'd go through the.
Yeah.
Possibly, we could say while the doc is dealing with the admin of getting these people moved. The captain.
Are they awake?
Well, we'll see.
No.
So
tell me, man.
We'll get to that in a second. I just need to figure out the order of things. So for this day, Doc and the captain heading to do that. Blaze,
Doc will then sleep on the ship.
Blaze, you're resting first. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to go back to my room then.
Okay.
Sleep.
You gotta get some rest first thing.
Does space coffee have magic powers? I was sure there was something about coffee, but I can't find it in the. I was trying to look it up in the handbook and I couldn't find it.
It's delicious.
There are
That's it, just a note.
There are certain things that can give you a little bit of a buzz. Let me just look.
Like standing up too fast.
Because Wendy, as someone who has spent a lot of time just kind of watching targets, perhaps doesn't need as much sleep as everybody else.
Yeah.
Or has ways of staying awake.
Well, I mean, you certainly know that a stim pack might give you a boost. That's a shot of adrenaline. A lot of, I mean, depends what you want to do. I mean, do you want to sober up, Wendy? Is that what you want to do? This whole experience doesn't mean sobering up.
Wendy should never sober up. Wendy might have to go for a Bloody Mary.
So do you want to push through, Wendy, or are you going to get some rest?
Depends, Blaze. What if Blaze and Zam want to sleep before going on a recce?
Okay.
Then Wendy will occupy herself around town.
Okay.
It's only to just like make sure we're fresh for the mission.
This is what I'm going to do. And this is unique to this game, and maybe I'm stealing it from some other mechanics. I'm sure anyone that's watching this will probably know. There's going to be a pie chart for each of these days. It's going to be split into 4 sections. Okay? For each of the day, you've got 4 sections to do something. Now, the doc sorting out the hospital and the captain doing her stuff will be one of those sections. The rest, if you want to rest, it will take up a section of that pie chart. Which means you have 2 other sections to do with as you wish. But for each day, you've got 4 segments. Do not forget that you will need to rest. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? You've got like a 4 chunks of a pie. Doc's doing one thing, which is going to take up 1 chunk. The rest will take up another chunk. Because you're going to need a good 6 to 8 hours, aren't you?
Does Doc get a rest in that chunk as well?
I'm going to rest in the second chunk while you're doing whatever. Once I've got everyone to the ship.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Oh, can we like get uniforms from Rico? Possibly, especially for ZAM. If
you want them for the, you're gonna head down to the mine.
Everyone else, do you agree on a chunk being used for this, or?
She can do this. I would say with the first chunk, Doc's obviously choosing to do something during that. Okay.
Yeah.
Your rest will be part of that same section. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So
after I've rested, can I draw them a map then?
You can do that in the next section. So it's almost like quarters. We've split the day into quarters.
Yep.
But if you want to rest, it's going to take one of those quarters to do. And remember, doing some of these things may take time. And there may be certain things that we're going to completely RP out and maybe a bit more difficult than you think they're going to be. But to begin with, who's resting on this first section? Blaze? ZAM? Wendy, what are you doing?
Wendy's too psyched up, amped up to rest. So she's going to have a drink and then go to the biodome and try and talk to somebody at the biodome about, because this whole thing about it's a creature, it's organic.
Okay.
It's life. You can grow life, so there must be ways to kill it. Apart from just blowing it up.
Okay.
Also, it seems like it would be a nice place to visit, and we haven't yet. So.
Yeah. Right, so we'll come back to that while Blaze and ZAM are getting some much needed
force
rest.
you to do another NPC.
Doc, you and the captain take the monorail, head all the way to the Explorer at the admin HQ. The captain makes sure that you're okay. Do you need any help? Have you got this? And she heads off to basically sort all the other shit out. She takes the cat with her.
For the best.
Yeah. So she takes the cat. She's got the case as it's sort of going. Oh, calm down, honey. She goes off to sort out whatever admin nightmare she's going to have. Trying to get a laser cutter and a hand pistol taken back to your ship. Whereas you head back to the infirmary. And whilst there, you just want to check on the patients. They have not they have not woken up.
Okay. Then I need to try and request that they be transferred back to the infirmary on the Susan O'Brien.
And they call in Dr. West. You obviously you know
yep.
as he comes in and you're looking to move these people, yes?
Yes, I need to transfer them back to our ship.
What about the remains?
It's probably best they stay here.
Are you sure that's...
Our ship is limited space, and we'll make sure that someone sends for the remains for the family.
I see. Yes, I can begin the procedure of notifying the appropriate people. I mean, it's to take them in such a state. We will need the stasis tube, so it will take a while. Is this something you want to do now?
As soon as possible, please. Yes, we might be leaving earlier than we anticipated.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I was hoping at one point we maybe could have shared a brandy and talked about less trying times, but
I would like that, and perhaps another day. But you know how it is with the company.
yes.
We don't always get a say in our comings and goings.
Yes, I must say you haven't, myself excluded, you haven't exactly made a lot of friends with certain people here, but perhaps it's for the best. You won't have to deal with, I mean, you won't have any issues.
Yeah.
Moving forward, but certainly, I can expedite this. I mean, we will need, of course, some signatures on relevant paperwork, but I can get moving on the stasis pods.
I will sign whatever you need me to.
Very well. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Walk this way. You look tired. Would you like a coffee?
You have no idea.
I mean, it tastes like black piss, but it wakes you up. And,
I'll take it.
A little polystyrene cup with tar.
Black piss, yeah.
Yeah. They don't exactly push out the budget for, luxuries. But it does the job. And
It sounds familiar.
Certainly there is a certain, there's pads and forms. And Dr. West, after your interactions with him before, he is certainly as accommodating as he can be. You can tell this is a man walking to the edge of the line, but he's still within the line.
Yeah.
He's doing, and possibly you get a sense that there's relief, maybe, that you're that you're leaving, but not in that negative towards you kind of way.
Just the troubles I bring.
Yeah. But certainly, and you see that they bring in like the pods and everything is checked, and the monitors are there, and Sarah and Roy, the billionaire, as what Wendy likes to refer to him. And the forms you have to fill in it is company stuff. There's like you have to write in your name, so it's all on the record that you signed these people out. They were at this facility. Everything goes through, but when you're doing it, all you can think is, I want to get these people out of here. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. And you get on a shuttle, and it's at that point, as you're riding in this shuttle with the pods and their sort of belongings, which are gathered, minimal though they are, that you're sat there, and despite the coffee, the exhaustion just overtakes you at one point. Could you give me a sanity save, please?
$78. Fail.
Fail. Marker stress.
Yeah.
And
I'm very stressed.
You're sat on this bus, and you're just looking out, almost slightly a little bit paranoid that people may be watching. You know, that kind of look out the window and you're tired and your eyes sort of close and you almost drift off, but you think to yourself, no. And you open them, and on the seat in front of you there's a woman sat there in a plain floral sort of shirt, fairly high-waisted sort of trousers, looking every inch the motherly figure. She looks like she hasn't slept in days. And you recognise her. And she's just sat there, rocking in the seat, as you are, as the bus moves along. And she's just looking at you with a cold look in her face. Her cheeks wet. It's funny you wanting to save people. Ironic, don't you think?
I'm doing my level best to ignore her.
What makes you think you can act altruistic and be the good man now? After everything you've done. She looks to the side where there's the pods are there. She looks at Sarah's face before turning back to you. You're going to get them killed too, aren't you? What promises did you make them? Why aren't you answering me, Doctor?
You know why.
What was that? Yeah, the driver sort of turn around and look back, and she's not there. Is everything all right back there?
Yes, sorry, just nodded off for a moment. Bad dreams.
Okay, well, we're almost there.
Thank you.
And the bus pulls up. Make a panic save, please.
My stress is so high.
What is your stress currently?
15.
He's got to roll above a 15. Everyone.
I rolled 15, Vince.
I'm going to let him have this. And what I mean by that is I'm going to let him have this panic result because it works very well narratively.
Oh, mate.
You are catatonic.
Oh no!
You become unresponsive and unmoving for... Could you roll me 2d10, please?
2d10. Yep. 11.
11 minutes. So probably for the rest of this journey, the doc is just sat there. Just completely out of it. Eyes bloodshot. Exhaustion. Could you roll me another d10, please, PJ?
Just the one.
Just the one.
7.
You reduce your stress by 7.
What? I mean, thank you.
The warden gives and the warden takes away.
Yes, he fucking does.
I felt that made complete sense with what just happened. And when you finally sort of shake out of it, as you hit the sound, like everything is just quiet until you come back into it, and all of a sudden the clunking sound of them unloading these pods, and you can make it in. And when you get there, the captain's there. She's already setting up, and you can have your rest. The doc closes his eyes, and he only falls asleep because his body forces him to. Wendy. You head over towards the biodome, what the biodome is, which is this huge glass structure within the centre. It's a little bit, well, it's kind of beautiful in its own way. It's obviously where they grow fruits, vegetables, and the like. And you can see it's a real area of calm. I don't know, has Wendy sort of sat and just observed it much since she's been here?
Yeah, she did when we all first got here. She spent a bit of time looking at it, and I think probably after the big fight, she would have spent a little bit of time just kind of looking.
Yeah.
Going in, if possible, to kind of sit and look.
Yeah. And there are certain parts of this dome that you can't get access to within the greenery, but there's certain viewing sections. And there's one section, you notice there's this woman stood by the glass dome. You've seen her, you swear you've seen her a couple of times. And she's sort of looking in. Occasionally she's waving down at someone within the dome. As you approach, you just sort of hear, come on, look up, look up. Come on.
They ever wave back?
Oh, sorry, you startled me.
Oh, sneak up on people sometimes. Sorry.
Every morning I like to say hello to my husband. He works down there in the dome. Yeah, he normally waves back. He's just over there right now. I'm just trying to. Perhaps you could just wave your hand, see if you can get his attention. And you look into this dome, and you can see there's a couple of guys. There's a couple of folks, sort of in different sort of hazmat suits, and well, not hazmat suits, but they're in definite sort of not gardening gear, but it definitely looks hyper sort of hygienic.
Hazmat gardening clothes.
Hazmat gardening clothes. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Draw your own fan art, folks. As they're sort of checking on plants and they're spraying things, you see one figure sort of stop near a small outcropping of. You can see definitely some beans, like there's some green beans, and there's quite a luscious looking crop, and they're checking on things, and you see him sort of. He stops for a moment and kind of looks at his wrist as if he's like looking at a watch, and then he looks up in your general direction, and he waves, and the woman smiles back. Ah, finally, John.
I'll give you a minute.
Oh, sorry. Before you turn away, Wendy, something catches your eye. As you look down to where this John figure was. Is this John sort of... He glances up and he puts the shape of a heart in his gloves. And she does the same. It's a sickly sweet thing that Wendy feels... I mean, you're probably thinking, ugh, Hallmark. Ugh. But before you turn away, you notice something. On one of the steel panels, there's a steel sort of like girder leaning upwards, near where this John figure was. Near the top, there is a vent near the wall. And about 10 feet away from that vent, on this girder, there is something on there that shouldn't be.
Oh,
it's
God.
Flashing red. And you know what it is, because you planted a bunch of them on the ship that you sent into space. And that is where we're going to end this week's session.
I just wanted to hug a tree.
Oh.
So I'm assuming they've booby trapped it. Like those nut jobs.
Yeah. It's the anti-plant faction. What?
Well, the mystery deepens. Well played, players. Well played indeed. What a extremely tense session that was, and we hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I was having so much fun. Just sat back, just listening to these guys plot what they're going to do with this place. We're in quite a predicament, I think, when we left off last session. So I don't know. Did we make progress? I think we made progress, didn't we? They're still in shock.
I mean, you know, the cat's okay.
That's the main thing.
You've got some people off. You've got some people off this colony.
2 people and a cat.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do.
Job done.
Yeah.
Blow the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I already cannot wait till next session to see what happens. It's so much, but we hope you enjoyed it, folks. A few thanks and shout outs before we head off. A big thank you to Tuesday Night Games for creating the Mothership system, which has allowed us to create and just play in this crazy world and roll these dice. Not too many dice rolls this session, but I have a feeling we're going to move into an area.
I made loads and I failed every single one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. But look where it got you. You de-stressed yourself by going catatonic. Yeah.
I think it was that or the dog died on that monorail.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's so much fun stuff in this game to discover. So go to TuesdayNightGames.com to discover more about Mothership and all the systems. There's loads of third-party content as well, which is full of great stuff, some of which I may be using and putting shout-outs to in future episodes. A big thanks to Tabletop Audio for all this wonderful music you hear during this session. Lots of atmospheric stuff you can use in your home games. Just put it on the background, put it on in a loop, and you immediately get people on edge. It's brilliant. Big shout out to the wonderful ELIOT Red for the Safe Space theme, which sticks in my head permanently. It's got a permanent place in my head. And the wonderful credit sequence created by our very own Gavin Mitchell. Yes. And
whatever.
Well, you're going to have to talk about your sales now, because where can people find you and your work? Jim, start us off.
Skulking in the corners, in the darkness. Oh, yeah, Twitter, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like that. Yeah. Lizzie.
Assorted social media platforms of old and new varieties. At Lizzie Boyle Says. Also at Ski Shoot Repeat, which is a winter sports podcast in the summer, because it's our summer right now. So that's weird.
Who knows when people are going to see this? They have no idea.
Also, it doesn't feel like a summer.
No.
At the
That's
moment.
true.
No.
It's been rubbish.
It's rolled its fail. It's failed its check, hasn't it?
It's rolled its fail.
It's rolled its fail.
It's rolled its fail.
Rolled its fail. There's a t-shirt.
It's rolled its fail.
It's been a long night. I had to go. I had to break at some point. Gav, where can they find you?
Again, social media at Bob Goblin. That's BOBGOBLYNN. Thanks.
And PJ.
Trying to leave Twitter behind, so other social media, please, where you will either find me as PJ Montgomery or PJM82, depending on which platform. I'm around.
And he's always here, which is what we love. And you can find me on social media, just in general, at Jester Diablo. Thank you very much. You can follow this show at Safe Space RPG. Go to lawbreaker.podbean.com for more shows, including our spin-off show and everything else. There's so much world building that's happening with these wonderful players, and it's going to get exciting over the next couple of episodes. It's always exciting, and it's always intense, and it's always fantastic. So join us back here next time Be sure to like and subscribe, all of that stuff for the algorithms. And until next time, we're haunting. Well, I'm haunting all my players with whatever I choose to freak them out with. Wherever you are in the world, we hope you're happy, healthy, and just remember to stay safe out there. Bye, everyone.
Hey.
Bye.